push record. Uh-oh. Okay, as people keep joining, I think I'll go ahead and get started. Can you hear me okay, Moss Nate?
I'm perfect. I can hear you great.
Okay. All right. Great. If you guys have any issues, you can send a chat message or unmute yourselves if needed. Everybody's muted at this time. Hopefully you guys can see the video. My name's Holly. For anybody that doesn't know me, welcome to our call with the Vibravision team. Many of you know that I've been doing a lot of different kinds of training and events in the last couple of years, mostly related to spirituality, most recently. And last year I attended training with Vibravision, and I just couldn't stop talking about it. It was like real life Jedi training, and I was using energy to see. So some of you met Moss Nate, Mike, and Angie at our conference in New Jersey, and a lot of people were asking for a demo, and we didn't get one. We couldn't find the time to get one. So today I'm excited to have this opportunity to have everybody meet the founders of Vibravision. They are the real Jedi masters and the Yodas of this ancient science here in the US. They learned it in Asia, and they're the only group that I know of that's teaching this right here. So we're going to begin with Nate Zelesnik. Is that how you say your name, Nate? Nate Zelesnik. He's the CEO of Vibravision. He's going to talk a little bit about what Vibravision is, and then we're going to go to the training studio with his brother Mike, who's the chief instructor and also the highest ranked member of this martial arts or this energy arts organization, and also Angie Anderson and others in the team there. And we will then go to a Q&A. Oh, and then we'll have two students of Vibravision, Tiffany and Mike Armstrong, who are here to talk a little bit about their own experience with Vibravision. And then we'll go to talk about how you can participate if you're interested. And then we'll do some Q&A at the end, right? So feel free to ask questions in the chat box, and yeah, and we'll go ahead and get started. So Nate, let me highlight your video. Okay, why don't we get started? Why don't you just go ahead and talk a little bit. First of all, Nate, thank you for taking the time on a Friday afternoon out of your busy schedule and out of everybody's busy schedule to be with us. And why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about what Vibravision is?
All right. Thank you so much, Holly. And I'd like to say I really want to recognize Source on this and say, Holly, you're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for having all these people join us and spreading the word of what we're doing. And to everybody who's joining us, welcome. My name's Nate Zelesnik. I'm the CEO and founder of Vibravision and the Vibravision Foundation. And my brother and I are the first non-Indonesians to ever learn this skill, and we were granted permission by the 11th generation heirs of the royal family of Central Java, Indonesia, to bring this to America for the benefit of those who have visual impairment. Now, in Indonesia, this has been used for a long time, and their special forces, actually, their most elite commando paratroopers, use this on a regular basis, not only for missions, but also for search and rescue, since they have it's the Ring of Fire there. So they have a lot of volcanoes, landslides, typhoons, all kinds of things where they call in the military to help rescue people, but also to unfortunately identify and exhume bodies from under the ground. And they use this skill a lot. They use this often there. And so when we think about martial arts, a lot of times people think of kicking and punching, they think of MMA, and they think of, UFC, or maybe on the other side of it, they think of Tai Chi or Qigong, and they think of the internal energy side. Well, the art that we teach is called Merpati Putih, which that means white dove in the Indonesian language. So this is all centered around peace and justice for all of humanity, and to help us in both ways, the external and the internal. And so we have five main aspects. We have our kata, we've got our forms. So it's very different than what you may have seen with Japanese, Korean, or Chinese martial arts. But we also have combat. So obviously it is a martial art, so defending ourselves is important. But what really makes this system stand out are three other aspects. The first one is the breath technology that we use, which is completely unique in the world. There are so many different breath methods out there. This one does stand alone in its own right as a complete total rarity. And so we use this breath technology to increase the energy in our body. And we've heard the terms chi and prana. Well, that's exactly what we do, but we do it in a very intense way that builds this energy quickly in our body. And we use that for things like, well, I'm sure most people have seen people break boards or bricks. Well, very few people ever see people breaking steel bars or huge slabs of stone. We're not going to be breaking stone today, but we do have something really cool for you cooked up a little bit later. Then we can also use this energy to help heal our body. But not only that, since everything is energy and all energy carries information, we can use this energy and this information to help balance other people's body. And I know that a lot of people are familiar with Reiki and pranic healing, things like that. Well, this does that, and actually it's takes it to another level because it's not energy just from the quantum field, it's energy from within ourselves. And the fifth element is Vibravision. So on the energy side, we build the energy within ourselves, but then something that's very unique to the Merpati Putti, or what we call MP or MP USA system, is the ability to catch and understand the vibrations of energy around us and to determine what those are and to use those for the benefit of our entire system, our mind, our body, and our soul. And it can be used by blind people, but also it can be used by people with perfect visual acuity for a lot of different benefits. And so that is the one thing truly that makes this unique.
Okay, so just to clarify, Vibravision is part of MPE, the larger martial arts or energy arts system that
Correct.
you guys had learned through the Indonesian tradition, and then you brought
Correct.
it over here. Can you talk a little bit about how you were able to bring this over here? Because my understanding was that this was an ancient secret that they had kept within the royal family in Java, Indonesia, and they really weren't excited about this going out into the world because it's such a strong superpower, and they were very careful with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it was kept within the royal family, well, just within the family until 1963, where they released the breath technology for the energy building to the general public in Indonesia, but they had never trained a non-Indonesian until my brother Mike and I approached them about the Vibravision skill. And it's interesting the way that we came upon this is we ordered an inner power course. Inner power guaranteed in 2 weeks for your money back out of Black Belt magazine. And I was like, hey, I like instant chi, don't have to spend a decade in a monastery. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the method was really dangerous, but it had a VHS cassette. Yeah, this is back in those days when the VHS was the thing. And it showed these people running through obstacle courses blindfolded. And the very next day after we saw that, I saw a blind person with their guide dog right by the Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind. And their guide dog went right around a pole, the light pole, the traffic signal pole, and the blind person walked into it. And I'm sitting there, and it was like, I think almost all of us have had this, where you just have it's an epiphany, a stroke of inspiration that just hits you like a lightning bolt. And you go, for me, I was just sitting there going, I wonder if those Indonesian people could help blind people. And so I took a couple of weeks to find them because it was very difficult. Everything was in the Indonesian language. I didn't understand it. And I finally tracked them down, and they were looking for American representatives and people outside of Indonesia who could help promote this. Well, they had never trained a non-Indonesian person. It was forbidden. And so we finally were able to bring them over here for the very first demonstrations in the States. And we did it at the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind, Weber State University, and also at the Indonesian Embassy in Washington. Well, when I showed up at the airport, there was this Indonesian man. This is when you could actually go out to the gates. This is before 9/11. And so I'm standing there, and here's this Indonesian guy, and he walks up to me, and he introduces himself, and he says, I'm going to be your trainer.
Mhm.
Well, okay. And from then, we were able to start learning this as the first Westerners to not only just learn it, but also be able to then teach it.
Mhm.
And it's been 20 years now that we've been working this mission to ultimately bring this here for the benefit, not just of the visually impaired, but also military, search and rescue, EMTs, everybody who might need this, because it is such an amazing human technology.
Mm. And so they taught it to you, which I understand was a very grueling experience, the training was, and then they gave you permission to open the studio. So you've had the studio for a while, and now you are um, um, working on building up the foundation, right, for the to support and empower the blind. Um, so I think that kind of leads us to a little bit about why we're here, because my understanding is that you started to pilot some of this intensive training to not only people in your studio, but also in these intensive immersions with people like me, which is how I learned about it. So I joined a 5-day immersion, and you're actually trying to pilot this so that it scales on a much bigger level, so that you can train, 100,000, a million people with that are visually impaired. And to start with, you need not only people that are visually impaired to learn, but also people that are interested in learning this ancient art, energy arts. What was really special about this training for me was that I've done a lot of spiritual training on like meditations and breath work and other things. This is probably the first training that I've done that had the discipline and structure of a martial arts, and the methodology where it was like, okay, you do these 6 things and you do it um, over and over, and you are pretty much guaranteed that you're going to open your third eye and start seeing things in the dark. And I've never, um, felt that way about any other kind of training. So, that's why I'm so excited about this and wanted to introduce this to everybody. Can you talk just a little bit about what goes into the training so people know, like what exactly does the training consist of? Just to
Absolutely.
we'll go to Mike in the studio.
Yeah, you bet, you bet. Well, when we do this, we have a combination of breath technology, certain body postures, because we're energy, everything is energy. But just like you have electrical wiring in your buildings, well, we need to make sure that that energy is routed to the proper location. So different breath technology, which completely unique, then also body postures, meditations that help rewire us neurologically. And then we have practice. We have certain drills that we do over and over, just like if you're going to build your chest muscles, you're going to go and you're going to do bench presses, right? But if you do squats, it's not going to build your chest muscles. So we have these very specific proprietary exercises that help rewire us so that we can start perceiving things that we normally would not be able to do, but that everybody does have the ability to develop in some capacity.
Right. We're through the exercises, we're actually rewiring our brains to sense energy and visualize energy in a completely different way, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I had a slide that you sent me that I'm going to try to share.
Perfect.
That was, I think it was related to the science. You want to talk a little
Absolutely.
bit
That's
about
great.
the science and the science that you're working on?
That's great. Yes.
Uh,
Okay. So what we've done is over the past 20 years, it's been very important that as we brought this to America, everybody has their pitfalls and their setbacks. I mean, most people on this call are entrepreneurs, so you know that sometimes not everything goes according to plan, but when you're determined and you have that dedication, you're not going to let it get in your way. And after I saw and actually got to train with blind people in Indonesia, our mission has never been stronger in our hearts because we know what this can do for humanity, but we knew we had to quantify this. We had to bring this here in a way that the Western mind would look at it and say, okay, well, the evidence and the proof is there. People are doing it. They're getting results. But more than that, we wanted to make sure that medical professionals, optical professionals, brain science professionals, and also blind people had a chance to use this and verify it with our Western testing methods. So most recently, we've been working with Dr. Jeffrey Fannin. Now, for those of you that don't know him, you may be familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Well, Dr. Fannin was Dr. Joe's chief neuroscientist for 9 years, and he did over 4,300 brain scans on meditators as they went through Dr. Joe's programs. Dr. Jeff has also done amazing quantification and calibration and measuring of people in all kinds of different meditation groups. And, you know, he's never seen anything like what is coming up on our brain scans for our people. His eyes are bugging out as he's looking at it like, and I'm just going, it's a bunch of squiggly lines. I don't know what's the difference. And he's like, there's a big difference. I've never seen this before. And, you know, in fact, he has energy measuring equipment, since we do build energy in our body. And he comes in and he measures the ambient energy in the room. And he told us that after 2-hour session with 20 people in our room, it raised the ambient energy in the room greater than meditation groups he's been in with over 1,000 people. And I'm just like, I guess you're the professional, but he is absolutely devoted to helping us in this endeavor to really quantify the brain science. Yeah. As well as we do have people in the optical field and medical field and field of blindness who have done this, and they verify it as well.
Awesome. So Dr. Jeff is Dr. Joe's chief neuroscientist and has basically compared the 1,000-room energy at Dr. Joe's events compared to 20 people that are doing your work, and it's more energy with what you're doing than in what we do in a doctor. And I love Dr. Joe, as we all do. But just in terms of the technique, this is real, like, science and also ancient secrets that I feel like have obviously been tested over a long period of time before it was brought over to be taught in this way. So I think that's very exciting that you're using a lot of neuroscience to actually prove what's going on. Okay, why don't we go to the studio and do some quick demo.
I'm actually going to go and help a little bit with the filming. And so I'm going to turn my camera off for just a second and go out there. And then I'm going to turn the time over so my brother Mike can.
Go time. Will you go put that gap by the other gun?
Mike, are you there?
I'm here. Hi there.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to turn this back over to my slate so we can video this. Yes, actually.
Okay. Where'd you go? Okay, I can't hear anything. What are we doing? Are we breaking?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Oh,
okay. Fantastic.
Breaking?
I just need, yes, we're going to go for the breaking first.
We're breaking metal.
Right, yeah. Let me just do a real quick little intro on this guy. You know, one of the most interesting things about MBA is that we deal with energy in both spectrums, meaning projecting energy, which we can do a lot of different amazing things with that as far as protecting our body or healing other people, but also detecting the energy, which is the Vibravision specialty. So one of the demonstrations we wanted to give real fast, that this is not a magic trick, there's no smoke and mirrors, that this is real energetic proficiency. We have a variety of different materials up here that in other martial arts, you know, I've broken a lot of different boards and bricks and things like that. Something that's a little different in MFA that we definitely understand. Not everybody wants to break steel with their body, but we can. This is another one of the amazing things that we can do. So what I've got here is a big steel packing plate. They use this in shipping. These guys here are well pump handles from the old style well pumps. And I've got a group of our senior members here that are ready to.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
I was just articulating that you're using energy to break the metal thing.
Yes, so I'm excited. So I was like, yeah, let's go. This is metal bars. These are cast iron plates and well pump handles that these guys are going to project their energy out of their body. Guys and gals are going to project this energy out of their body to protect their body while they break this stuff. So they're using their energy to break the material rather than their brute strength and force.
Got it.
Breakers, are you ready?
Yes.
Please, take it away. There are. Sorry, I lost the space there. Well, so as you can see, there's no smoke and mirrors here. These are real steel bars. Would you like to make these another way?
It's got some famous. I didn't even do it, so I don't know.
Would you like to go again? Or something different? Okay.
Yeah, so these are real students, and she's using that hissing sound. That's part of the breath work that you learn. Woo! You're one of them.
Okay.
That was awesome.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Yes. Okay.
So,
What else are we gonna do? That was
well,
awesome.
this portion was just really to emphasize the electric and energetic projection of the energy. But Vibravision is based around projecting and then detecting the energy and becoming sensitive enough to it that we can tune in and tap into our surroundings. So we've got our Vibravision team here prepared and ready to show a few of the different skills and then how we can relate them to daily life. We really like to have a lot of fun with these demonstrations, so please follow me.
Okay.
All right, guys, the very first thing, can you please come all over to
Okay. Everybody's wearing those mindfolds. I don't know if you guys have those mindfolds, but you can't see anything through them.
All right, guys, so could I get a volunteer really fast to do some colors? All right, so the very first thing, could you please come down and separate out the colors as fast as you can? We have 5 different colors here. Stack them with each other.
Woo!
Very nice, very nice. If I hand you colors, can you call them out and drop them as fast as you possibly can? Let's fix this back up again. Now, this is one of the first skills that we start to develop is how to find different things and then how to differentiate them. We'll go a little deeper into depth, but I'm just going to mix these all up and hand them to her at Landon as fast as I can.
Green, red, orange, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, oh, orange, oh, orange, red, blue, green.
Very nice job, very nice job. Could I ask another Vibravision member, would you please come and take these guys and at a distance, if you could please actually come over on this side, we have a variety of different maps out here that match the colors of these beanbags. As fast as you could, Ken, will you please throw them onto those maps and match up the colors?
I don't think I could do this even if I wasn't blindfolded.
Very nice, excellent job, excellent job. So next, let's move into a little bit smaller target. Could I ask somebody to come over here? I'm gonna mix up and throw these coins down. This is one of the things that for blind people is one of the most challenging aspects of their life that they're always taken advantage of with money. It's very difficult to deal with money. So I'm just gonna drop these out. Dave, would you please pick out all of the nickels? Awesome. Would you please get out the quarters? Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and move on to something a little bit different. Could I ask somebody to, as you can see here, we've got a deck of cards, and we're gonna shuffle them up. As we become more advanced and able to perceive the colors and shapes of different things. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's stop. Let's do this real fast. I'm going to do some shapes. As you can see, I've got some different shapes on the flashcards here. can I ask this for the whole Vibravision team? All switch the card, and as fast as you can, you call out what it is. Ready? Actually, but you're probably gonna want to be on that side, so
They're gonna want to be able to hear. Yeah, that's you're too far away, Mouse.
Okay, I'll get a little closer. How about we do like this? I'll be on the ground. Ready? A little circle, triangle, line, arrow to the right, oval, star, arrow to the right, circle,
Hexagon.
Let me mix them up.
I can't talk fast enough.
And let's go again.
Rectangle.
Triangle. Circle. Line arrow. Star. Triangle. Hexagon. Circle. Blue. Awesome. Come on back over here. Let's do a little race. So, as we learn to distinguish and differentiate shapes, we can also do, obviously, shapes and colors. Colton, can you just somewhere out of the middle of that deck, cut it in half and start sorting them out by suit? So, with the spades, the clubs, the hearts, and the diamonds. Thank you. The four suits. Excellent job, excellent job. As you can see, he is at 100%. I know we're short on time, so let's switch the game up just a little bit and go back to money. I've got a big, messy stack of money here. Could you start sorting those out? That's a nice one there. Very nice job. Very nice job. Now, really quick, before we move into the next segue into the next section, could I please ask those of you that are playing along at home to just join me for a quick second to put into perspective a little bit about what it is that you're seeing here. Would you please just close your eyes for 10 seconds, kind of settle into the darkness, take a deep breath, exhale. Now imagine for just a moment that you need to go to the bathroom. You know, you're in your own home, you're somewhere else, wherever you're at. What would it take for you to navigate and make it to the restroom? And then be able to do whatever it is that you need to do in there and make it back to where you are now. Just imagine for a moment what that challenge might be like. Thank you. Go ahead, please open your eyes again. And now we're going to start working on orientation and mobility, because sitting down and doing things is exceptionally useful. But using this in daily life and being able to give a new tool that will truly set people free and in a whole new way, able to play in this amazing sandbox that we call Earth and in this game that we call life. So, Vibravision team, will you please head into the forest? Very nice, very nice. Okay, guys. TJ, can I ask you to please go and find the lightsaber?
The lightsaber? What is he looking for?
Lightsaber, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Somewhere out behind you, there is a pink balloon. Will you please go and take a look at the pink balloon? Will you please slice it? Awesome. There's a green balloon somewhere. Please find the green balloon. Fantastic. I have got a big bird light.
What are we looking for?
Somewhere.
He came to get the knife.
Red balloon. Please go find the red balloon and pop it.
Red balloon.
And he's gonna pop it.
Yes.
Whoa.
Nice. Up the blue balloon. Another balloon. Very nice, very nice. Very good. You take a look over here. I'm gonna throw some bee bags out here in just a moment. Angie, could I ask you to actually switch guns with Colton and take the rifle? Do it. No, you able to do this? He's gonna get me in a minute. So, with the rifle, would you please find an orange balloon and shoot it? And Colton, please come on over here. I'm gonna have you shoot it in just a moment.
Wait, how do I do this one? Oh, it's already
It's a pump.
Boom.
Nice. How about a green balloon?
Go back over there.
You know.
Oh, come on!
Very nice, very nice. Hey, quick, I just wanted to show a couple of other applications. Not only navigating through the forest, or I should say everyday life, including any type of obstacle or terrain, but also being able to find targets at a distance. So going into a store, being able to find our own groceries, our own things, without needing to be able to read Braille, but being able to just navigate and find what we're looking for using our Vibravision. Then in addition to that, what about playing sports? There's such a huge increase in folks that are losing their sight because of diabetes and other different conditions. How many of the people out there that may need Vibravision were previous athletes that have since not been able to play their sport and pursue their passion because they're not able to see the thing that they're playing with? So we kind of modeled this after the Jedi, blocking laser bolts, but I don't have a laser gun. We just have Nerf guns. So I wanted to start, or I should say finish, with TJ, I'm going to throw beanbags at you. Please block them and call out the color.
Red. Blue. Yellow. Orange. Yellow. Green. Yellow. Green. Blue. Orange. Green.
Very nice job. Very nice job. So, as you can tell, not only can we find targets and approach things, but we can also sense the things that are coming at us and distinguish them for different purposes, different obstacles, different threats. We're actually literally planning on creating a new sport like American Ninja Warrior, running obstacle courses, but instead doing it blindfolded. It'll be American Jedi Warrior. And this is going to be a blast. The final thing that I wanted to finish off with is,
Hold on. Holly, did you have a question?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask after he's done if he could also do, I understand that some of you can read as well with your blindfolds on. If you can maybe come to the screen and have a chat with maybe some of the participants blindfolded.
that is a wonderful idea, because yes, actually they can read everything from text messages, down to fine print. I watched Miss Angie read 7-point fine print on an official government ID from in Spanish. Let's see that in just one quick second. I just wanted to finish with one last. This young gentleman, he's part of the military academy. He's planning on graduating here in August, and he's headed into the Marines to be a military sniper. So his literal nickname on his blindfold is Sniper. And I've got a couple of targets here that I'm going to put out, and let's see if Bolton can get them.
Oh my God.
All right, Golden, shoot the inside of the cup. Nice. All right, can you shoot the other one out of my hand? Nicely done. Nicely done. TJ, can I please borrow you for a moment? Let's head in the opposite direction. Would everybody like to come? Do it. That's great.
Okay. Holly, I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone so that we can
I can
not get that.
Okay. So they're coming to your screen, Nate. Is that right? Okay. So if anybody wants to put anything in the chat box, I think they can read it.
He muted his already.
Okay, excellent.
Oh,
Yeah, Samas Nate is muted. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It's not gonna matter. So
wait, I can't hear. Are you muted? Oh, okay, he's muted. How do we make it work?
Well, I can speak through the computer, but it looks like the phone being so close to Zoom calls that close is getting the feedback.
come out here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so whose camera should we be on?
So we're on Tiana's camera. This is the phone.
There we go.
You guys want to?
And he is looking at the TV screen.
I think everybody on the Zoom call can see what's being written, though. So maybe
Okay.
just.
Can you guys read maybe the last thing that somebody said?
All right. So this is from Master Zoom account to everyone. He says, "Thank you for the impressive demonstration, especially people in Australia." Smiley face.
Smiley face.
How long did it take for the students to be trained to these levels?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good question. We can go to Q&A here in a little bit. Anybody want to type something fun for them to read?
What does it feel? There. Look. What does it feel / look like for you right now? Really, so I've been doing this for a pretty long time. Us four. That right now I can see the actual letters because we've trained for the letters, and I can see like the white box on the right side of the screen. And Master Zoom says, "Hi Yoda." Baby Yoda. Sean said, the force is strong within you. What is that?
Awesome. So, yeah, so how long have you guys been training?
October 2014.
Yeah. So about 6 years.
About 6 years.
Well, 5.5, yeah. Yeah, it's over 5.5.
But we've been here for.
Yeah, they've been at this level. They've been training and being able to perform at this level for quite a few years now.
So how long did it take for you to get to that level?
Yeah, it was about 2 to 3 years, depending on the person. Everybody is different. So some people, it took a little bit longer than other people. Yeah, and that was training with us twice a week.
Got it.
But also regular practice at home as well to
That's
develop it, like any skill.
We are a little bit short on time, and I want to respect everybody. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing demonstration. I want to go and maybe give Tiffany and Mike a little bit of time to speak, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So Tiffany and Mike, you are actually students of Vibravision. Let me unmute you. Hang on. And go to your. Hi, Mike. You're on the screen. Hi, Mike and Tiffany. You're on the screen.
Hey, how's it going? So yeah, let me give just a little bit of backstory. I'll try to make this as quick as I can. Can you imagine going from being able to drive, then going into surgery, coming out of surgery and being totally blind?
Yeah.
That's basically what happened to my wife and I. When I lost my sight, I decided immediately I wanted to get out and learn how to be independent again. So I went through all the basic blind skills, got proficient at all of them, and even ended up working at a school for the blind. And I've been doing martial arts since the age of about 11 and have a high rank black belt in karate and jiu-jitsu, and always, heard about these kind of things where people could do these amazing things, without their eyes. So it was one of the things for me was to pursue being able to live my life to the fullest. To that end, I ended up working with the School for the Blind for blind children, and ended up hiking Kilimanjaro to raise funds for them. I hiked the 800-mile Arizona Trail, did a rim-to-rim-to-rim hike across the Grand Canyon, and a bike ride across Arizona as well. And this was all to raise funds for blind children, and also to prove to myself that I could still do the things I wanted to do. When I first heard about Vibravision, I was immediately blown away, and I'm like, oh, I got to do this, because it's my wheelhouse already, being into martial arts and being passionate about life. So I got online with my sister at the time and just started researching it. Checked all the stuff out in Indonesia, checked some stuff out in Australia, and of course in the United States, tracked these guys down and hunted them relentlessly, calling every week, when can I come train? When can I come train? Until finally they're like, all right, gosh, if you quit calling me, I'll let you start training. So I started that about 2.5 years ago. And since doing, like, even the first immersion, I was able to scan on the ground and see my cane for the first time, and it's not like seeing like I did with my eyes, but it's just like a white flash, and I'm like, oh, it's right there. Sometimes it's a feeling in my hand, but I was able to do it. I was able to find colors and match colors after 3 days. I walked 50 feet across the coal lot and found one person that I was looking for, just by imagining that person and following my instincts and using the techniques I was taught by them. It's every day I think about it. I use it all the time when I travel. I use it when I cook, when I clean, just in daily life. And it's getting better and better and easier. And whenever I see or hear those guys going through all the things that they can do, it just inspires both of us. And we've been driven to really help bring this out to the blind community, and there's been a lot of naysayers, but the proof is in the pudding, and it is real. It's amazing, and it's incredible. And it does give you the possibility of being able to see again, or something similar to it, in my opinion, better. So
It's amazing.
But yeah, it's incredible. And the guys are they're like my brothers now. They really are. All of them. Everybody out there is just amazing. And we get out there as often as we can. And Moss Mike comes out here and trains us whenever he can as well. But, we're in Arizona and they're in Utah, so it's not as much as we'd like.
Great. Hi, Tiffany.
And Tiff.
Awesome. Hi, I'll hold the phone. Hi. Thank you everyone for your time. My name is Tiffany Armstrong. So I'm a little nervous. I do speak in front of groups of people, but never spoke about Vibravision. And what makes me nervous is that it's my heart and it's my passion. And, the demonstrations that you guys were just honored to see and witness, we got to see, I got to see it 2 years ago. And, my first immersion, my first time, once I learned the meditations and the breathing, which is, a day in the making, I got to put it to practice the second day. And I literally saw my arm. I saw my right arm during meditation for the first time. I had seen something in about 9 years. And I just bawled. I couldn't even hold it together. I just cried and cried, because when I went blind and I lost my job as cake decorator for Phoenix Country Club, and lost my career and still had student loans to pay back and had to move back home, I always knew in my heart of hearts, and it was hope, of course, that's what drives us sometimes, right? But I always knew there was a way to get my vision back, in whatever way that looks. And when we found Vibravision, and I saw my right arm, I was like, that's it. Like, this is it. All of our extra money, everything is going to this. And we've done it, and it's progressed. My Vibravision has progressed to the point where sometimes I feel like it's not in integrity to say that I'm totally blind, because, to be all honesty, if you put me next to somebody who is totally blind, which is my diagnosis, I have no vision at all with my physical eyes, I 100% can navigate a room 1,000 times better than they could, because of Vibravision. The way I see it is I see blobs Some blobs are big, some blobs are small, and please don't ever be offended if I call you a blob, because to me, people just look like blobs. And like when I'm in a room, like I was in New Jersey with some of you, and when I'm in a room of that many people, it's just walk through the blobs, and stay in my focus and walk through the blobs, because you're not looking from the front of your head, you're looking from the back of your head, because you're not using your physical eyes. And it's amazing. It's life-changing. Another super quick story. This was very, very valuable to me. When I started, I had a 1.5-year-old son. And if any of you guys have had kids or carry kids in those really heavy carriers, I had a diaper bag on one shoulder, I had a kid in the other, I had a cane in the other, and I have to go to doctor's offices, I have to do groceries, I have to, be a mom and like carry all this crap and a cane. And it's just to the Lyft driver out in the front of my house, like, this is ridiculous. So I got so comfortable with Vibravision, I'm like, forget it. I'd fold my cane up, stick it in my diaper bag. Come on, kid, let's go. And I would just pick up my son and we'd walk straight out there. And he uses Vibravision with us, and he calls it his night light. And because he's visually impaired as well. And the things that he's starting to see, and the diagnosis with him is the doctors look at him and go, I don't know how we can see out of his left eye. Physically, he should not be able to see out of his left eye. I'm like, well, watch this. And I'll put a Simon in front of him, old school game Simon, cover up his right eye, 100%. And there's no physical way he should be able to see out of that eye, because he's not. He's using his Vibravision, but he doesn't even know it yet. So that's just, I want to be respectful of time. I know I probably went over, but I'm so passionate. And I just want to say thank you to the Mosses.
Absolutely.
And a special, special thank you to Mona. Girl, I love you so much. And she gave me some beautiful advice last night. So
And
thank
Holly,
you.
thank you.
And Holly, yes, Holly, can't forget
The
Holly.
team and everybody.
And just everybody. Angie, you rocked it. You're amazing. And just everybody. So thank you so much for this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany and Mike, for that
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Nate. So kind of the reason that we put this call together was I was excited to keep training, and I'm excited to for others to start on this training. One of the questions that I received recently was, other than seeing and fighting and with energy, what are there any other benefits to this? And what I got was that my spiritual journey is always about increasing my intuition, and that's all types of intuition. And this is like one very, very powerful way of doing that, in a way that is provable to others that might not have the intuition. But whether or not you're blindfolded, obviously you can just close your eyes and feel and sense and see things that you don't have to use your 5 senses to feel. And that the benefits of that in my life, I think are manifold. It's not just, oh, I can do some cool tricks at a party, but just generally for my own spiritual journey, that's been very, very powerful. So I just wanted to share that. Nate, do you want to go to Q&A? Does anybody have questions? And then we'll share maybe when the next training dates are and how much this costs, if anybody's interested.
That sounds great to me. Yeah, we can go to Q&A.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves or type in the chat box. I know that there were some other questions earlier. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and so Gary, you want to ask your question?
Hi, Nate. Thank you for you and your team's incredible job in the demonstration and taking your time for us. I've followed what you guys do for probably the last 6 months or so, and I'm from Ottawa in Australia. So I heard about early on your intentions to reach a lot more people. Like, do you have any specific plans of international expansion or using the internet to teach some of these skills?
Sure, absolutely, Gary. That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking. Right now, we're really focused on North America, but we are planning to branch out as we have more trainers. And that is one of the big functions of the foundation, is not just to provide the training for those who are visually impaired, but also to help us develop the trainership so that we can scale and we can bring it out. And so as far as Europe or Australia, North and South America, those are really going to be the places that we focus on the most. But right now, we're really oriented mostly for Canada, America, and Mexico. I hope that answered your question. I wasn't quite sure exactly.
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you. And also another question, it's like a lot of the things that you guys do, it really challenge the existing paradigm of our human potential and our capability. What's the vision going beyond just some people external may just see it as party tricks and nice little skills that you can have maybe for the blind, but how do you see the extension of what you guys do being able to impact human consciousness as a whole?
What a perfect question. Thank you. That is a fantastic question. Okay, so obviously for the visually impaired, it's not a party trick, right? It's an actual non-visual skill for motility throughout the world. However, for those of us who don't need it as far as the eyes closed aspect, so what people get to learn when they come to one of our immersions is, first of all, the breath techniques, which are a complete and total wellness system, both for your anaerobic and aerobic health. As far as for athletes, the VO2 max goes through the roof, but also for people who are suffering from high cholesterol, high blood pressure, things like that. We've had so many people who test their blood sugar and it normalizes after just 5 minutes, even if they're having some serious blood sugar issues or blood pressure issues. Now, we can't make any medical claims on that, but that's what people have been reporting to us. But then when it also comes down to, the American Medical Association recognizes that over 80% of all disease is caused by stress. So if you have an instant way, pretty much an instant way within just a couple minutes to lower these stress hormones in your body, you're just going to have a better overall healthful existence overall. And so it's not just seeing without Now, as far as the intuition is concerned, and that's one neat thing about what we do is it does not put anybody in a box. This is wide open for what people use it for their own benefit in the ways that are going to benefit them the most. And I will be the first person to tell you, well, I'll be the last person to tell you it can only be used for this, this, and this. And I'll be the first person to tell you, please tell me what else it can be used for. Enjoy that journey of expansion, exploration, and I would love to hear what else you use it for. So it's really open-ended because a famous author, one of the most famous out-of-body explorers named Bob Monroe, one of his famous quotes was, "The only limitation that humans have is believing that we are in any way limited." Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that after what I've seen and witnessed and experienced throughout my life, especially in these past 20 years, the sky is the limit. I don't think that's even a limit. I think the edge of the universe is the limit. Yeah. And so we have a lot of things that we can benefit each other with on this as well.
That's awesome. Last question. Do you have age limits for the Vibravision training, more specifically for kids?
Yes, we do. 10 years old and up is where we start for the kids, simply because what we do is so intense and the methodology is very precise that having a large degree of focus and concentration and the ability to memorize and stay focused in a meditative state is absolutely crucial for the success of this. And so as far as that's where we start, is 10 years old and up. However, as you heard from Tiffany, little Gavin, who's 4, he's got his flashlight or his magic light, and he's 4. But he's developing that himself, which just with the Merpati Putti methodology, it is precise. So we need to make sure that we do have a certain degree of focus ability before we start teaching them, or else it's kind of like spinning your wheels because look, a squirrel. That happens sometimes with kids. So.
Thank you so much, Nate.
You bet. Thank you so much for your great questions. I appreciate those.
Feel free to keep asking questions. I just wanted to actually show a picture of a couple of the things that are hanging in the studio. These are actually the member promises and their values as an organization, which I thought really impressed me. You know, it's to humbly serve all of humanity with peace and justice. So some of you had asked me, well, isn't it true that with these superpowers that you can actually like go to a casino or something, or you can go anywhere and do you know, things that are not really benefiting humanity with these superpowers? And it's true, you can. Like any of those kids that you saw today, I think can walk into a casino, and if they're allowed to be in, and be able to read the cards. But everybody that starts this work actually has to take an oath of and these are the member promises that they practice every time that they come to the studio and start learning this practice. So I just wanted to throw this out there because it is something that I think is important. My understanding is that it's important to Nate and Mike as they do background checks on everybody that starts learning this material. And if you are interested at all, I'm going to show the date for the next training that they're going to have. Oh, let me see. Oh, okay. So, so for the next training, Nate, do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Absolutely. Well,
it's a special package that I've really been pushing these guys for. So this is not something that that is actually available to the public.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Holly. Yes. Well, Holly approached us when we were at the Unblinded event, and we really started working and brainstorming on this, that we would like to hold, and we're going to hold, a special Vibravision immersion just for Tony Robbins Platinum partners as well as their guests. Now, we were able to rearrange our schedule with our other programs that we have going on here with our martial arts and our health and fitness programs to make sure that we could accommodate a schedule that's in between Tony events and be able to offer this to as many Platinum partners as possible. So we have March 27th through the 31st. It's a 5-day workshop. It's 8 to 10 hours every single day, maybe going a little bit longer. From what I've heard, for those of you that go to Tony events on 12 hours is not that long, from what I hear from a lot of Plats. And so we've got this one going on from March 27th to 31st, and this is a VIP event only, just for the Plats, just for their guests. But after that, we're going to have a level 2 toward the end of May. So we want to make sure that people have a couple of months to practice, because as you start rewiring and you're firing and wiring these different things in the body, it does take a little bit of time. Just like, you're not going to lose 6 inches off your waist in a week. At least you shouldn't. That's really not healthy. And you're not going to put, 5 inches on your biceps in a month. It does take some time. The same thing happens with our neurology as well. So we're going to be holding this here at our headquarters in Ogden, Utah. And we have a very special pricing on that. And Holly, did you want me to go over the pricing? You were on that sheet first. I can go there, or I can go right to so usually we have a $7,000 or $69.97 price for the 5 days of training. And then we also offer online coaching, which is a once a month opportunity to ask questions and be trained with my brother Mike, who is the top ranking Marpati Bhuti trainer in all of North or South America. He is the head instructor for this entire side of the world. And so after that, we also have the option for you to have the post-event support, which we have an online training portal, and it is an opportunity for you to have all the meditations right there at your fingertips so that you can go ahead and you can train right along with Mike every single day to help you develop this. It's not just hey, welcome, here are these techniques, bye. And we also have an app for iPhone and for Android where you can work on detection of colors, and it tells you right there. So you have your blindfold on, you just go through and you can train at home for shapes, for cards, for colors, and all of these things do develop that neural pathway so that we can use this in other areas of life. And then we're doing something that we haven't ever done before, which is, you saw those yellow holes out there that they were all running through. We call that the forest because, well, it's a catchy name. And we're going to be offering people that the opportunity to take those home with them, and there'll be 9 pole sets, because not many people have 7,000 square feet like we have here. But if you have a living room, these break down and will fit right in your luggage if you have a checked bag, and they go home with you. And so all of this together would be about $13,500, but just for the Plats and the partners, or the friends, we're going to discount it. So all of that is included for $3,500 for the entire week.
Yeah, this really started because I pushed them for a 50% discount from.
Oh, did she ever?
Right.
Yeah, she got some great ideas.
Add this, and then can we add this? And then how about this? Let's add this too. And so this is where we ended up, and it's a really, really amazing deal. I didn't get any of this, so I'm excited to get some of this on my second round.
Yeah. Well, and Holly, you're just absolutely amazing. We hadn't really thought of adding these as bonus ads before, because usually we've charged for everything. But Holly, since all these people that are on this call right now, and quite a few people who weren't able to be on here, came so highly recommended to you. Our mission is to get this to as many people who can then influence other people to expand their awareness as we possibly can, because this is not about us. This is about everyone, and especially those in the visually impaired community. But since we have our foundation, it's a 501c3, so people can make tax-deductible donations to our foundation, and we use all of that money for the scientific research with Dr. Fannin. We use it to help train trainers, and most importantly, we use it to help offset the cost and the travel expenses for blind people to come and learn this themselves, because that's where it all started, and that's the ultimate goal. And so what we're going to do is we do have a $50 application fee, all right? And so we use that money for the background check, we use it for the application. But what we're going to do is we have our foundation page that we just had a new website, our new website's built, and we just got the donation portal open a couple days ago. We weren't able to get the application fee portal open though. The web administrators weren't able to get that done in time, but I had an idea. I said, well, you know what? This is all about the foundation. So for those people that would like to apply, you just go to the vibravision.org, our foundation website, and click donate now. You donate $50, and then we will pay for the application fee. We will pay for the background check, and we'll use that $50 to be going directly toward the scientific research funding, and also toward helping blind people with their costs. And then we're planning on taking 10% of whatever anybody who registers for it, we take 10% and donate that as well to the foundation for the same purposes.
Right, and so these are small classes, right? Which my understanding is that you're still in some ways piloting the smaller classes so that you can expand and scale this training so that you can support as many people of the visually impaired as possible. And so this is kind of, I had mentioned that I know friends that can be really great ambassadors for what you do. I'm definitely going to be there for both of these dates, so that's one spot down. But I'm hoping that more friends join me, and it's not going to be a big class. So if you are interested, I would go ahead and make that donation so that they can initiate that background check now, because they need some time to do that. So if you're at all interested, there's only going to be first come, first serve. There's only going to be 20 spots, but I'm really hoping to see some of my friends there. And yeah, so hopefully we all kind of do all the Jedi training together. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions before we jump off? We went quite a bit over time, but I wanted to make sure that we gave everybody a chance to do the demonstrations and to talk. Does anybody have any other questions about the program? Okay. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions afterwards, feel free to text me, or you can also email Moss Nate. Moss is just kind of the what does it mean?
It just means sir or sir. I'm old enough to be a sir, unfortunately. Now, fortunately, it comes with
the martial arts. We just call the trainers and instructors Moss. So it's Moss Mike and Moss Nate. So if you're interested in emailing Moss Nate, his email's at the bottom. It's nate.mpusa@gmail.com. And hopefully I will see you guys there.
Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
Absolutely wonderful. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great night, everybody. Thanks. Bye. Stay on.